frost this morning. Hard to believe. Here we go. What was that? Had to stop at the post office. Had to get Nigel's present in the mail. Yeah, I sure hope he likes it. Well, we'll find out later, I guess. Well, here I am arriving at Ron's place. I see they got things going on here. I'm early, but I guess he didn't know what to expect. For the day. So, Ron, you're going to show me some of your Deadwood, eh?
Yeah, these are pieces of Deadwood I found on the golf course and around the community in some of the ponds. I dig them out, let them dry out, clean them up. This I just turned into a freestanding piece.
It's nice.
Piece I just dug out of my garden. I think it's part of my original bottle brush tree. Kind of cool. I've got to let it dry out now, and then I'm probably going to wood seal it because it's so soft. Use wood hardener on it.
It's amazing what you can find like in the trash.
It really is. It really is.
Put cardboard between each pot. I know exactly where I set it.
Yeah, don't break anything getting it out.
This was cut out of one of our ponds, a piece of old cypress, I believe.
Oh, that's a real nice piece.
That's a great piece, yes. That'll be used at some point in time for planting, perhaps. I'm going to be doing a beginner's class on the 14th of March. I have 6 people signed up for it at this point. And we'll do it at my house. It'll run 2 to 3 hours. We'll cover all the basics of bonsai, the history of it. We'll cover how to select trees, where you find trees. We'll talk about styling, using wire, pruning, repotting. These trees were provided by Dave Clark in our club, and they'll be able to select one of these trees to work on as we go through the class. It'll be a total hands-on experience.
All famous. You're all famous.
We're just dark shadows.
Yeah, you're just dark shadows, so he's right.
They keep us in the shadows.
Keep you in the shadows. All right. Why don't you give a shout out for Waggarts there, Dave?
All right, yeah, we made a Waggarts pot run the other day.
Show them the pot here. Bring it out into the sun.
Bring it out into the sun.
Oh, there we go.
Pot had several versions of
Is
this.
that a Waggart pot also?
There's another Waggart pot. So they've got the whole range from I'd say the lower end prices all the way up to whatever you want to spend. The handmade stuff from all over the world. They've got some great selection there. So go check out the pots at Waggart's.
So, Rod, so you're just here for the fudge?
I only show up for the fudge because some guy has some contraband fudge over here.
He doesn't eat all week. He waits for
And he says this is the last batch, so I have to take advantage of it. You know, I have to load up.
Process of putting lime sulfur on this juniper that Terry styled. It's a juniper parsoni, and he did a beautiful job of styling and wiring. Took a lot of foliage off. He hasn't touched the roots, which you don't want to do. When you work on a juniper, you work on the top one season, the bottom the next season. So he's done a great job of that. And he created a beautiful sherry along the side of here in the front, and a beautiful gin at the top here. So what we're going to do is put some lime sulfur on it, and we use this product here called Gin Seal, which you can buy anywhere. I bought this over at Artisan's Bonsai. And we poured some in a little shot glass, and when we're finished, we'll finish it that way. We'll do a shot of it. And we're gonna use a little brush. I've sprayed the wood, the deadwood, with water about 10 minutes before to soak it in, and that opens up the pores to absorb the lime sulfur.
So what kind of aftercare do you think we need on this tree?
Well, after we're finished putting the lime sulfur on, we're going to put the tree in the sun. That'll turn yellow when we paint it on, and it'll turn white when we're finished. But I would keep this in partial sun, a shady, somewhat shady environment, because we've taken a lot of foliage off the tree to give it a chance to recover. But it should do fine as the weather warms up. You'll be able to move it out into the sun after a couple weeks. And that's basically what we're going to do. Put a little lime sulfur on it now. So we just use a brush, paint it on. Try not to get it on the foliage if possible. Doesn't take very long to do it.
Shouldn't have had that shot of lime sulfur. What was that? I feel like I'm living in a volcano. Well, at least it's in Hawaii. Well, it's time to get to work. Got to create this by moving it out of this pot here. Yeah, it was a nice experience. We're going to do a quick little repot here into this new yellow pot for this. And you can see the pot's already prepared. It's for this little Portulacaria. So I'm going to set that one aside, pull up the dirt tray, and first thing I'm going to do is scrape away the topsoil here. It's already had the wires removed from it. I'm hoping to be able to do this without very little exchange of pot size. I hope you just slip pot this. So then we, looks like we have to go around the edge. It's a little bit tighter than I thought. But go around the edge like so. Loosen up the soil. And hopefully we can maneuver it out without damaging the roots too much. As you can see, is not a whole lot of root growth. It's very dry today. But we just toss that aside, toss this aside, and then we're just going to rake it out a little bit. Just I really planning to do any major root cutting. This is the third pot for this little variegated Portulacaria, root over rock. It was on one of my high stands and it wasn't wired down in place, and it blew over and the pot broke, so I put it in that gray Tokonomi pot. I imagine this pot is not Tokonomi, but probably Chinese. And like I say, I'm just going to rake out the roots, not wanting to really repot it right now. I just kind of want to slip pot it. So let's see how it looks in the pot. And there we go. We can see that it fits pretty nice. So let me just put a mound of soil in here, and I'm going to actually use the soil that came off the top because it's pretty thick. And then I'm going to get some new soil over here real quick. I got this Red River rock soil from D&L Nursery. I don't know if you've seen this before, but I'm going to use that. And then we're going to get this little guy in here and rotate it around. And then we're going to still the film. I'm going to finish up here with this bamboo stick, making sure I get all the air pockets out of it, and then we'll get ready to the watering. This red soil is going to blend much better with the piece of bog iron that I have in here, which came from up north. But from what I've seen, I believe they have it down here in Florida too. I just really haven't seen any of it. So I'm going to take time to water it. Well, there's what she looks like, watered and out in the sun. And next up is this oak. They call it a water oak. But if you can see that root ball, there's a lot of critters moving around. There's even mycorrhizin you can see in it. The reason I'm thinking about root potting this now is because a year or so ago it actually died. The whole top died back. I'll show it to you in a moment. Let me show you the bottom of the roots. Oh, there you go. It's not a whole lot going on down there, but I'm gonna do a root pruning here. I couldn't even bring the pot over because it's so heavy. Well, I'm gonna tear at the roots here while you're looking on. Just gonna. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm noticing new buds form. I've cut the top back on this, and I want to cut it back even further, but I want to see what's going on with the roots before I do all that. So here we go. Starting off with a root hook. I got a root rake waiting there in the wings. No chopstick. But most of the loose soil is going to be down here at this end. I don't plan to use any saws to cut in this with. I might in the future if I ever decide to go to a shallower pot, but I haven't got to that point yet. So you can see it's pretty hard right there. There's a root system there. Oh, I'm bringing it up on its edge now, and you can see how that a lot of loose soil in there. This is the bottom of the root ball. When you do this kind of repotting bonsai, you'll see all kinds of different root systems. It's real hard right there also. Those would be places I'd have to go in there with a saw because there's still a lot of original roots. I had this in a huge pot, and it sat outside my church, and I didn't repot it for a while because it had such a huge pot. Turned out when the rainy season hit, the roots stayed underwater and the tree drowned. But it got resuscitated, came over, cut all the leaves off of it, and it started to bud back. Not all of it now. And as you'll see in this trunk here, I guess you can take a look at that and see how it's died back, and it's died all the way up to the top, and I'm planning to cut it even further down. But before I do that, I'm going to rake out some more roots, and I'll probably speed through some of this unless I just stop it and start it again. This is where all those critters were hanging out, right in here. I'm not sure what they're doing. Never know. They could be the detriment of the tree, but again, this is another hard area. The only good area is directly under the tree. And you can see it's put out some roots. So well, here's a good use for those Dollar Tree scissors. Yeah, this is what's coming off of it. It was just repotted last year. Well, there's what's left of the root ball. And here's the tree. I'll just spin it around for you. Backside. I don't know if you can see that one bud coming in right there at the top. But there it is, the pot. This is the pot that's been prepared for it. Showing you the water trough. There's the pot. Well, there's the tree in the pot. Soil's not been put in yet. Being a bonsai artist scientist, I'm using a lot of organic soil in this mixture. This oak didn't cost me anything, and it's already died back once. So I'm going to try something different, adding a lot of organic soil this trip. I'll check it out next year. Check back in a minute. Thought I'd let you watch me work it in a little bit. I got a big chopstick for this. I'm using bonsai soil underneath the tree. But like I said, I would have put the original soil back in here that came out. We treat different trees different ways, but it had those critters in it. And I don't know what those critters are, so I didn't want to deal with them. This way I feel that, you know, some of them might still be in there, but I don't feel like I'm adding them to it. You saw how that was mounded up, and see how this chopstick is really takes it down, trying to get out those air pockets, picking out the big pieces of lumber. I trimmed the tree up a little bit. Cats are looking to get fed. Here's how that lime sulfur turned out on the shari and the gin of the juniper. And one final look at my new yellow pot with the variegated port in it. And as usual, here she is looking at us. Time to end the film, people. You guys have a nice day. See you next time.